Good morning, Magic players. Welcome to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. Get ready for Q&A. Get your questions fired up for this fire discussion we're going to have this morning. And also, we do Decklist reviews. So if you've got a 75 you want some feedback on, this is the place to bring it. Both myself and the community can give you that feedback, find better lands for your mana base, help your win condition, and also show up all your bad matchups. Brew up a cup of coffee and let's brew up some magic. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for February 12th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, Merfolk Master. And what a morning. Everyone's already here. Good morning, Fraser. Good morning, Hoax. Good morning, Dead Guy Red, MTG Ectoplasm, Shuff, Muchly. Damn, Elvish War Master, so good. Just playing historic elves while taking a poop. All right. Oh, yeah, you can play on your phone now. That's right. Unfortunately, not for the Apple users. You got an iPhone here. It's useless. No good. I don't even know why they considered us a second priority. It's the Apple user. Like, everything in the Apple app stores costs money, where in the Android, the Google Play Store, it's all free. I mean, clearly it's us that has the money. They should prioritize to the people who will pay money for the wild cards and stuff like that. Anyway, just my own marketing opinion. Where am I here? Good morning, Nico. Wait, is MTG available on mobile now? Yes, that is correct. On select Android devices. Good morning, Victor. Good morning, Rick and Mick Gaming. Good morning, Papa Joe. Dang it, not on iOS yet. We gotta wait. We gotta wait around here. Cody, good morning. Good morning, Lantern. Good morning, Cithrone. I hope I can drink a beer instead of coffee. Hey, whatever floats your boat. And you know what? It's not the morning for everyone. Maybe it's the evening for other people. If it is the morning and you're drinking a beer, I would switch it to coffee. Dunmer, good morning. Good morning, Hollow. Good morning, Ethan. Good morning, Aiden. Good morning, Carlos. All right, Victor. Hey, man, where did the Nikachu name come from? It came a long time ago. Good old 12-year-old Nikachu started playing the Pokemon trading card game. How do you think I got into Magic the Gathering? It started with the Pokemon trading card game, and I designed my own Pokemon card. It was basically a glowing green Pikachu. It was a very neon green Pikachu, and I called it Nikachu, and there we go. And then, one day I had to figure out a username for the internet, and I'm like, okay, with all this nonsense I've created as a child, which one strikes out the most? Oh, Nikachu sounds like a really good name. We're going to go with that. And I've stuck with it ever since. How old is this username? 23 years old. 23-year-old username. Unfortunately, I'm not even the most popular Nikachu out there anymore. There's like this Animal Crossing YouTuber that's way bigger than me, and there's apparently some woman from Germany named Nikachu, but sometimes goes as Nikachu, and well, whatever. So if you look up Nikachu in Google, I'm not the only one. I got to beat these people. So if you're new here, you want to be part of the conversation, or more specifically, you want to get my attention, use 3 question marks before your questions. 3 question marks after your questions helps me find your questions amongst all the comments that I'm receiving on multiple YouTube channels and Facebook. And I appreciate everyone who shows up everywhere. Seth has a question here from Facebook. Valky, God of Lies, is obviously OP with Cascade turning it into Tibble, Cosmic Imposter. But they will adjust this problem shortly, seems to me. I actually like the card Valky myself. However, my play group is toxic, like always, says it's not worth it without the Cascade into Tibble. What are your opinions about this? It depends on the format. If you're talking about Modern, I think the format is going to be very hostile to this card. There's just so much removal that it's not terrible. Like, you still get that ETB effect. You can steal a creature from your opponent's hand. So, I mean, against a heavily creature-based deck, spirits, humans, merfolk, it actually is going to be pretty good because they are lacking in removal and they're much heavier on creatures. But in general, there's just so much removal in Modern that it's going to be hard for you to get good value out of this card. Though I have to say, you know what? It's very similar to Tide Hollow Sculler, right? Now, Tide Hollow Sculler can take anything. Maybe this ended up being better. We haven't seen what Valky looks like. I mean, and this card has seen play for a very long time. Sees a little bit less play right now, again, because of this insurmountable amount of removal. And you have to get through things like Lava Dart. Anyway, this is all Modern I'm talking about. Modern, there's a lot of hostile cards against Valky. Now, for Pioneer, for Historic, that could be a completely different question. Valky might have, like, really good space there because they don't have the removal that we have in Modern. It's a strong card. It's not complete rubbish. You know, I would not look at this card and say it's a jank rare or anything like that. It's a relevant 2-power, 2-mana creature with a very strong planeswalker attached to it, even though you do have to sort of pay through the nose in order to cast it. So it's not complete rubbish. At the very least, your play group is underestimating it. Muramu, hey Nikachu, great to finally catch a stream. Hope to hear about some wacky deck lists and fun cards today. We'll see what happens. Papa Joe MTG, do you think I should get some Polluted Deltas now if I'm building Rakdos Shadow to an eventual Grixis Death Shadow? Yes. All the prices to everything is really cheap. Let's go to TCG Player. Actually, no, let's go to MTG Stocks. See some graphs. I want to see some graphs. Get Polluted Delta. Like honestly, right now is a really good time to pick up this singles for anything. Holy crap, Polluted Delta has been going up. So Polluted Delta actually has been relatively flat. It crashed going to Ikoria. That was the time to get it. And now it has been slowly going up. Actually, it's a crappy time to... I mean, it's like at its all-time high, right? It could get worse. It most definitely could get worse. I would suspect it would get worse. What does the Onslaught one look like? Onslaught is also on the rise. I guess people are preparing. Are people preparing for Modern when it's all over? But like, look at that. It's like its all-time high. I had no idea. That sucks. You know what? You want to play these decks? I think you still have to go get the cards. I mean, I would expect the card to go up before it crashes. Although the market is going down. $22.95. Maybe there's more on sale. Let's see. Hold on, let's go to TCG Player. What do the prices look like on the floor? Yes. Look at that. Lightly played. $27.95. I guess you got to get them now. Because, yeah, like, when everyone starts getting the money in their hands from, like, once people get COVID money in their hands, they're going to start buying this shit. Just like last time, everything started to get bought up. Like, people were buying cards like crazy as the governments were giving them money. It all went to Magic cards. So anyway, I think, I mean, if you want to get, in my opinion, if people want their cards, they got to get them now. We might have even reached the bottom already. To where the point where you would get a discount for Modern. Anyway, that's my opinion. Chris Ross with the super chat in 10 euros. Hello, Nikachu, and good afternoon from the soldiers in Germany. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much, Germany. Guten Tag. What is it? Guten Tag? Guten Tag. I think that's hello or good morning. All right, everyone, listen up. Any tips to make my Modern Dredge deck more efficient in the current meta? Well, I don't have any good tips because the current meta is going to change very quickly. Uro is going to get banned along with perhaps some other cards and some other rule changes, and we'd be in a lot of trouble. Now, I could, if you want some fast tips on how to adapt Dredge, I can definitely push you in the right direction. Go check out Sodek from Sodek MTG. He's at MTG Sodek, Sodek. He's the best Dredge player in the world. So if you wanted some like quick advice, he's got Cyborg guides. He's got a Patreon that goes over all this stuff. He's the person to ask. I don't know what quick adaptations he would want to make for exactly for this metagame. Do you think Living End is viable in the metagame right now? I mean, right now the Valky God of Lies is just the better Cascade deck. I mean, even Living End aficionado MTG Tavern is not even playing with Living End right now because he's playing with the Valky deck. Afterwards, yeah. I mean, it always has game. It always has game. Like, Living End is a deck. And it might become a much better deck, actually, after... We're going to see how many blue counterspells there's going to be in the format after the... after Uro gets banned, because that was one of the main reasons there were so many counterspells in the format. And I expect a lot of... I sort of also expect a lot of combo to pop up, but I also expect that Thoughtseize will hopefully keep them down. Let's see if I can keep up with the questions. Michael Paris, hello. Did you see MTG Goldfish video where Saffron Olive? Yes, I saw it. I retweeted it. Where he makes Mystic Reflections, the Master of Waves, and then has like 100 tokens, and then spoiler opponent goes for Plague Engineer. Can we find that? Yeah, I'm gonna look for that. I should just look for myself.
Stop on our opponent's upkeep, and the combo has arrived. The combo has arrived. All right, this should do it. Are you ready? Yeah, so we pass the turn. Stop on our opponent's upkeep, and the combo has arrived. The combo has arrived.
Set everything up. Right, opponent has 0 cards in hand.
Are you ready?
No cards in hand, people.
Turn,
nothing.
Makes a mana Master of Waves.
He knows the coast is clear. He can play these things at flash speed because of Leyline of Anticipation.
Mystic Reflection.
Trigger on the stack, Mystic Reflection,
and
Master of Waves. Look at all the Master of Waves. The whole family reunion of Master of Waves is here. The family reunion.
Yes. All right. And
each one, like, how much devotion is one? And he's got the Leyline of Anticipation on the battlefield for more devotion. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 devotion on the battlefield. Each Master of Waves is making 12 devotion.
Master of Waves.
4 times.
All of that making
6
tokens.
times.
All the tokens are huge.
12.
Yeah, Master Pulse would get us, or they could have a
that many waves are on the battlefield. So he's got this huge army of waves against this Death Shadow player who has no cards in hand. Nothing.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50,
almost
60,
certainly doomed.
72,
These are 8/7 elementals. That's fucking disgusting.
That was for 6 mana. 6 mana,
just
72 8/7s, plus the Master Waves themselves.
Saffron Olive can't be happier. Chad is super happy.
So what happens is, Mystic Reflection says the next time one or more creatures come into play, they enter as copies of the creature you choose.
Opponent draws a card for the turn.
Master of Waves. It would normally be making 5 elementals instead, or I guess 6 elementals.
Wipes everything away. Plague Engineer names Merfolk kills all the Master of Waves and all the Master, because all the Master of Waves has 1 toughness, and then after that, everything's gone. Because there's no Master of Waves pumping up the elementals. Just disgusting.
Okay.
Anyway, that was brutal to watch. I thought it was. I would have been very close to just clicking off after I saw all the elementals, and for whatever reason, I just kept watching just to wait for an attack, and then my heart just sank when I saw that Plague Engineer. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna lose everything, and everything is gone. Same thing would happen with Kozilek's Return. And that card is also fucking nasty. Those nasty cards. Are decks like Lantern Control viable in the current modern metagame? Nope. Lantern Control has a lot of problems. One being people use the graveyard too much as a resource these days, that you can't lock people out the way you used to with Lantern Control. But the second one is that it really depended on Mox Opal to blurt out its hand and get the lock pieces on the battlefield as soon as possible, get the Ensnaring Bridge on the battlefield as soon as possible, and also empty your hand as soon as possible, so you can, basically lock out every creature-based deck. That can't happen anymore. It's just too slow. I would say Lantern Control is a pretty dead deck at the moment. It was a really good but fragile deck even at the time. What do you think about Cosima in Modern? By the way, I'm Scottish and not used to Canadians saying my name correctly. Oh yeah. Is your name Fraser? I'm assuming your name is Fraser. Cosima in Modern. I remember that's like the 4-mana Planeswalker. Oh no. Something completely else. I'm thinking of something else. Okay, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Cosima. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If Cosima is exiled, you may put a voyage counter on it. If you don't, return Cosima to the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, and draw X cards where X is the number of voyage counters on it. Hard to evaluate, to be honest. Very hard to evaluate. 3 mana for a 2/4 creature. That's pretty good. So, like, that survives a lot of stuff in Modern. Tons of removal. Very few things will kill Cosima. And, like, if you want to kill it with Fatal Push, you still have to, you still need the Revolt. But it's hard to evaluate this ability. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile it. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield. It's like a delayed card draw ability, but you need to exile the card. And also, it will be gone, right? I have to put a land on the battlefield and then choose to either put counters on it or put it back onto the battlefield, right? Yeah. So okay, then in that case, I'm going to give this a thumbs down only because you have to remove it from the battlefield in order to get the value from it. And that's not what you want to do. Like, that's a little bit too cute for Modern. If I have my 2/4 creature on the battlefield, I need it there for blocking or attacking, not exiling it and like beefing it up and then waiting for it to come onto the battlefield later. You need to be like more immediate. This is clearly more of a commander card. But thanks for asking. Brian Monroe, in your opinion, what do you think will be the top 5 decks now that Uro is going to be gone? If I were to take a blind guess, okay, assuming they deal with Valky, maybe let's look at the metagame. Okay, let's say fresh metagame. There's no Uro anymore. There's no Uro. There's no Valky. Top decks, I expect Blitz, Burn. I think Burn is going to go up a lot because Uro is gone, and Burn is just like a level 0 deck in a level 0 metagame. I think Healy Company is going to... I can't tell. I think Healy Company is going to gain a lot of ground here, but maybe Burn is going to have something to say about that. But if I were to guess, Blitz, Hammer Time, some Shadow deck, Burn, Healy Company. That would be my guess. Hey, Mathieu. Can Dreadhorde Harkness be good in Modern? Yes. Yes, it absolutely could be. Dreadhorde Harkness is just waiting for the right shell, in my opinion. You see what it's doing in Legacy. There's no reason it can't do it. Isn't it sort of doing something in Modern? I've been fucking crushed by this card before. I've been crushed by this card before. But it needs the right deck. It needs the right 1-drops. I mean, I think we have it. I think people just haven't found the right deck for Dreadhorde Arcanist. And maybe it's weaker in Modern than it is in Legacy because there's just more removal. Like in Legacy, like you play a Dreadhorde Arcanist, there's only so many decks that actually have spot removal to kill it. And this thing will just get like a bunch of Brainstorms and Ponders. But I think it's definitely good. If it's good in Legacy, it's also good in Modern. People just haven't found the right build for it yet. What are your thoughts on Infect in Modern? Is it playable? Is it playable? Yes. Is it well positioned? No. Because you still have to fight through Lava Dart. You have to fight through the Prowess decks, unfortunately. This is the biggest problem Infect has right now, is the Prowess decks, and there are just infinite amounts of removal. Just infinite. The Fire Bolts, the Lava Darts, the Lightning Bolts. They just have so much removal. It's just, and it overloads anything that you can do to protect it. Infect's still kicking though. Hey, look, a lot of people would say Merfolk's not well positioned in Modern. I still play it to good success. great success. Had my best year in 2020. Do you think Oko is getting banned in Legacy? Yep. I don't know when, though. I don't know if it's going to be this Monday or eventually, but, like, you know, I mean, if there are certain cards that are warping the format and, like, the Legacy community is really pissed off about it, you know, it's once the community gets pissed off on social media and they're consistent about their message for a very long period of time, these cards get banned. So I expect Oko is going to get banned eventually. I don't know if it's going to be Monday, though. They might experiment with just banning Uro. Never mind, Mindbreak Trap is now $19 minimum on TCG Player unless you want to buy a $10 damage card. But you know what? I don't think Mindbreak Trap is going to be that necessary if they fix Valky and the Tibble's Trickery decks. Or they ban Tibble's Trickery. MTG Ectoplasm. Do you think major retailers are holding and not posting expensive cards to increase value? Nope. I don't think. I mean, maybe some of them are doing that. I don't think most people are doing that. They're better off. Look, the business model of stores are very simple. They buy cards from you for less and they sell it to other people for more, and they just have to keep doing that. And they want to sell like, even like, they would be speculating that it's going up, but it doesn't matter. They can just sell it, make a profit, and then if the price goes up, they just buy it from someone else for less and then resell it for a profit. So they don't need to go through those hoops. How scared of you are Rakdos Shadow getting more aggro in the wake of Uro becoming gone? If Field is gone too, how will Merfolk adjust? Are you still on Threads of Disloyalty or Bind the Monster? I'm still on Bind the Monster. I'm not on Threads of Disloyalty, but I could definitely go in that direction. Definitely tempo. We have to take more tempo moves. So stuff that's tempo wise, things like Harbinger, things like Threads of Disloyalty. I would really look into cards like that. Morning, I see your replay with Reflection. So this is a clunky card for this meta. It was always a clunky. It's a clunky card if you are trying to. Let's look at Mystic Reflection. I played a few leagues already with this, and it played out exactly as I predicted. I'm just waiting for it to load. Mystic Reflection is a very clunky combo piece. So the idea is, just as we saw with Saffron Olive, to have like a ton of mana. If you have a ton of mana, you play your Master of Waves, your Mystic Reflection, and you make a billion elementals. But the problem is, it's very hard to get to that board state where you have so much mana that you can play Master of Waves and Mystic Reflection at the same time. You have 6 mana somehow in Modern. Like, that's rare. So I think this is just a sort of a win more combination. Like, if you had this much, honestly, if you had this much mana, you might as well just play Master of Waves and Phantasmal Image, and boom, you've got a big you'll probably have a lethal Master of Waves by itself. That being said, I think Mystic Reflection is a great removal spell, like pseudo removal spell, pseudo answer to like Primeval Titan, Karn the Great Creator, other planeswalkers, other problematic creatures that I normally can't deal with counter spells. So anyway, I think while I still have the ability to maybe make my opponent copy some of my creatures like Lord of Atlantis, or maybe I want to copy some of my opponent's creatures. So it's an interesting card, but I want to use it as like a janky removal spell more than I want to use it as a clunky combo piece. Because Modern is just too fast, too aggressive for this combo. When did Glimpse get banned? I think when Modern was created. They just banned it immediately. I don't know if it's ever been legal. Gabe asks, do you think that Electrostatic Pummeler will be playable in Modern? What would you recommend as a budget option to break into Modern? Oh my god, Electrostatic. Oh, how do we break? I'm not the person for this card. 3 mana, 1/1, enters the battlefield, get energy, pay 3 energy. It gets +X until end of turn, where X is its power. Okay, the problem is energy, that most of the energy cards are not strong. So, I mean, I would just flat out say that, no, this is not going to break into Modern, because you need energy cards in order to break it. Or maybe you need, maybe some card will get printed one day where it can help double the number of counters that you have, which would include energy counters, because for the most part, we're capped at how many energy cards exist, and they're not even good enough for Pioneer for the most part. And Modern is just a much more powerful format. Like, energy was strong in Standard, and it's like okay-ish in Pioneer, but not good enough to really break through as a competitive thing. And so I don't know, because you need to use energy. You can't do anything else to buff up its power, unless there is some really interesting workaround that I'm not aware of. But I think this is more for the brewers to figure out. From my competitive Modern perspective, no, I don't know how to break this into Modern. Can't do it. I'm sure there's some other cards similar to this, though, that does what you want it to do, though. A fucking Space Marine donates 10 bucks. Thank you very much for the 10 bucks. I know this is going to be complaining about Uro. A fucking Space Marine is very passionate about his control deck and the powerful cards in it. Uro is not a ban-worthy card. Omnath plus Field of the Dead plus Ren and 6 is the problem. All three of those cards. Just look at the Sultai and Teamer decks. All aggro decks are way ahead of them. Control will die without Uro. Control will not die without Uro. Please, you're going to survive. I promise you. You said it would die when, like, when Oko got banned. It didn't die. It thrived. Well, maybe it thrived because they almost immediately printed the Uro right after it. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, Space Marine. Everything's gonna be fine. Shit, there's a lot of questions today. We're doing great. Thank you very much for the super chat, Space Marine. Muramu says, speaking of Living End, if Wizards decides to ban Simian Spirit Guide to weaken the combo decks, even though they shouldn't, is Living End even good anymore? I would say so. I wouldn't even say like yeah, you could get those early turn 2 Living Ends off, but like, what's in your graveyard? Like 1 or 2 creatures, maybe? Maybe 1 creature? Well, I mean, if you have Street Wraiths, that costs nothing. But for the most part, I don't know if Simian Spirit Guide is integral to the strategy. I think the advantage to Living End is it's a combo deck that also acts as a pseudo control deck, because you've got a lot of removal spells like Shriekmaw, and Living End itself is a sweeper. So I think Living End will still be viable even without Simian Spirit Guide. I don't think it was reliant on speed. I don't think it was leveraging speed. I think it was leveraging like value. A friend of mine mentioned putting Crocs in his Modern Dredge deck. I don't think that helps, because Dredge wants to draw cards. That's why they play Ox of Igonus. And it's just cheaper. Oops. I don't think I'm going to find this Ox. But the point is, like, they do play a creature that they can bring back from the graveyard, but it's not Croxa. Can I find this one? There we go. Ox of Agonus. There we go. And it draws cards, which is really important, because that helps that has synergy with the Dredge mechanic, whereas Croxa doesn't have any synergy with Dredge whatsoever. I'd probably just play something else. Morning Dexter. David asked, with the ban of Uro, is Chalice going to be back on the menu against the Prowess decks, or is mid-range going to push Prowess away and Chalice will remain not that good? Hard to tell. You know, those are the questions that's really hard to figure out. Like, from my perspective, the metagame, there are sometimes you just know what's going to happen in the metagame. Like what's it called? Well, I can't remember what happened in the metagame that I was so sure that Blood Moon would be back, and it did come back, and it made a huge impact. But for the most part, it's really hard to determine which decks are going to end up being good and push other decks out. So we just have to wait and see. Because you're perfectly right. Maybe Chalice will get better because there's going to be a lot of Prowess decks that are left, or maybe the mid-range decks push them all completely out. Or maybe the Prowess decks will turn more mid-range themselves, like the Abosh Prowess deck, to outvalue the mid-range decks. Who knows what's going to happen? We've got to wait and see. Why not get the notification? Guess you got to click the bell. I'm getting tons of super chats today. Corey Hagen with the super chat. Thank you very much, Corey. What is your favorite Caldheim card for Modern? Well, this might seem underwhelming, but my favorite is just Bind the Monster. I think this is like an excellent removal spell when it loads. Let's take some time to drink my coffee. I have to admit, there are some times that I want to go back to Dismember. You know, if Tide Hollow Sculler takes a card from my hand, I'm like, this Bind the Monster is not going to help me get my card back. But the whole, when it enters the battlefield, tap Enchanted Creature, it deals damage to you equal to its power, and Enchanted Creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. This has helped me a lot. This helped me a lot. I'm saving so much life with this card, and I'm getting to tap down things I can't kill with Dismember. You know, like, for example, a 6/7 Tarmogoyf, for example, or a 7/7 Death Shadow. I can do that with Bind the Monster. I can't do that with Dismember. So I'm very happy with this card. Happy with the results. I can't say it's going to be like super stock in core to Merfolk. Sometimes I can totally see going back to Dismember, pending the metagame. But this still does more or less what I needed to do. You got Arbor Elf. Okay, Bind the Monster, and it doesn't do anything anymore. So really happy with this card. And there are advantages. Some say like, oh, this member is good against Lurrus. Well, sort of, if you can connect it with Lurrus specifically. But if your opponent has like Tarmogoyf on the battlefield and is dealing damage to you, you like dismember the Tarmogoyf, then Lurrus comes out, then brings Tarmogoyf back, whereas I can bind the monster, the Tarmogoyf, and it's not going to come back. You're just going to have a Lurrus bringing nothing back. Anyway, this might seem underwhelming, but this is my favorite card coming out of Caldheim for myself. Thank you very much for the super chat, Corey. Do you think GTA will be unbanned in this moment? Nope. It's hard to predict. Well, like, I get questions asked like, hey, what's your unbanned predictions? It's like impossible to predict A, if they're going to unban anything, and B, what they unban. It's just near damn impossible. It's so random. It's just so fucking random. So, and I don't know if the world is ready for GTA. I think it's ready. I think we're ready for GTA. I really don't think. I'm not going to say it's dead on arrival, and it will change some stuff. For example, you could finally play Stoneforge Mystic with a good equipment and play Lurrus at the same time. We never had that before. Like, if you want to play with Batterskull or any of the swords, you kick out Lurrus. So this will finally be the first equipment that you could play Stoneforge Mystic and Lurrus at the same time. Maybe that synergy is overwhelming, for all I know. It would work perfectly in Hammer Time. Why not just slot GTA in as a good value card? Michael Bell. Thank you very much for the super chat. Looking to start MTG. My local venue plays Pioneer, Modern, and Legacy. Is there a deck or shell I could pick up that would be good use in those three formats? Nothing in all three. Okay, so the closest that overlap would be Death and Taxes and Burn. So Burn is very good in Modern and Pioneer right now. Death and Taxes is very good in Legacy and Modern, although I would say the Legacy version is quite a bit different, but is a very similar-ish deck. So I think those are the two that you're going to want to look at. The problem with Burn and Legacy is it's completely outclassed by the counter spells, or sometimes it's just too slow. Like in wins on turn 4 when people are killing you on turn 2 and 3. Death and Tax is very good in Legacy, very playable in Modern, but I don't know if there's a shell in Pioneer yet. But maybe a mono white Death and Taxes deck is your cup of tea. There's got to be something in Pioneer, and maybe something that will pop up that is very similar to Death and Taxes, but I don't know if the cards are going to overlap, but the play style might. Does anyone know if there's like a good mono white deck right now in Pioneer? Oh, Spirits in Modern and Pioneer also work as well. That's also a good point. It's hard to hit all three. I think Taxes might be the closest. Turn 4, yeah, turn 4 kill way too slow in Legacy. Have you ever tried, like, because Burn is just gold fishing with no interaction. That's just not good. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the Helia deck, but I don't know if that's good enough. Like, hold on, let's see. Just want to quickly look. Okay, so Pioneer, because I have not. See, Burn is one of the best decks, and Burn is gonna like gain a ton of value in Modern soon. So Burn is like definitely a good deck. Spirits, good deck to pick up for Pioneer and Modern. There's a lot of overlap there. And one thing with Spirits in Pioneer and Modern, it's like a very similar deck. like if you buy the cards, like they use Mausoleum Wanderer, they play Spectral Sailor, Rattlechain, Selfless Spirit, Phantom, not Watcher of the Spheres, sometimes Brazen Borrower, not Empyrean Eagle, but Spell Queller, but a lot of overlap here. They play Hollow Fountain, so all the cards you get for Pioneer will overlap into Modern. And if you like that sort of deck, that's good. It's a tempo-y sort of control deck. Burn is a little bit more aggro. Very, very different. You're gonna, I think almost none of these cards overlap into Modern, but the play style does. So Boros Charm, Eidolon of the Great Revel, Monastery Swift Spear, sometimes Luris, Sacred Foundry, but none of the cards overlap, to be honest. So if you're looking to really save some money, I don't know how expensive this deck is though. It's not really that expensive. It's $156, so you're not going to go too wrong. Well, I mean, Heliod still might be a deck, you know, even though the combo is banned. Where are we? I don't really see a mono white deck though. Does anyone see the mono white taxing looking deck? Like the mono white Devotion? I don't see one. This might be it, but it's a shell of it. Like this is probably close to like a Death and Taxes like style deck, even though it's not taxing. Well, I mean, those are your options. I hope that helps. It's hard. It's impossible to get all three. I mean, unless Spirits can break out into Legacy. Maybe it can. They have Force of Will. They have access to that if they want it. Anyway, I hope that helps. Good luck with your choice. You're looking at the last 30, not the most recent metagame. I like looking at the last 30 though. Like, because the last, like, if you wanted to go with the recent metagame is always random. That's not to say that it's like, that's the most well-positioned metagame. I like to look at the last 30 days. Because then the last 7 days is like too biased. Because it just can be just like whatever randomly finished very well recently. So much action in Coffee and MTG this morning. This is great. They should have banned Mystic Sanctuary, Field of the Dead instead of Uro. I hate Mystic Sanctuary. Who's to say they won't? I mean, they said that there's going to be a larger banning announcement, which means they're going to ban more than just Uro. So Mystic Sanctuary, Field of the Dead, they're still on the chopping block. They could get rid of all three of them. I made a tweet on Twitter saying like the control player is going to sweat it out. It's going to be such a sweat for the control players on Monday. Here's my tweet. Monday is going to be a huge sweat for control players. Who knows how many cards they're going to lose? I still think they're going to be well positioned, but who knows how many they're going to lose? Oh, this is my meme. Sam helped inspire the meme, if Sam is out there. And we were waiting. We made this like months ago. And we said, okay, we're going to keep this meme in the archives until Uro gets banned. Uro gets banned, boom. I released my meme to the world. And the meme is when Uro... Oh, sorry. When Uro gets banned, but you don't own any. Just enjoy that coffee, everyone. Just enjoy that coffee. Holy shit, I'm like a professional Coffee and MTGer now. James the Merce, thanks so much for the super chat. Uro bans, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk mono black vampires. Maybe, you know what? Honestly, I think this Uro ban hurts mono black vampires, not gonna lie. Because, like, we were doing... Because I played a little bit of vampires, and I got a 5-0 solely because I played against 3 Uro decks at once. I mean, look, was it Cordial Vampire? So it made... Tribal was very good against Uro because you generally played with Aether Vial, you played with Cavern of Souls, so those two cards negated a lot of their interaction, their mana leaks, the spell snares, the Remand, Archmage's Charm, Cryptic Command, so they can't counterspell anything. Now, in addition to that, Cordial Vampire was fucking amazing against Uro. Look, read what this says. Whenever Cordial Vampire or another creature dies, Put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. Whenever another creature dies, it doesn't need to be your own. It can be your opponent's. So when you have Cordial Vampire and a bunch of creatures out, and your opponent plays Uro for the first time, and then they sacrifice it because they didn't escape it, Cordial Vampire triggers. This thing triggers, and it made like my board fucking enormous. So anyway, it was actually quite impressive. Super underrated card. If you want to get into vampires, you definitely need this card. I underestimated this card significantly. At first, I played it as a 2-of, and I thought, let's see how this works. And then when I realized it affects, if the creatures my opponent, like whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, it also buffs up my team. So like even if it can be from your own removal spells, like Fatal Push that or Blood Chief's Thirst this, it will buff up your team, which I thought was fantastic. So Cordial Vampire really strong. But I think the deck is definitely get a little bit worse because I think one of the better matchups for it is about to disappear from the metagame. But again, like I said, like in another Coffee and MTG, Vampires is grossly underrated. And I think what it really needs is it needs someone like myself who's willing to like dedicate like a few months to tuning the best Vampire list. And I don't know if I have that much time to dedicate to it. But like Vampires, like I said, Vampires has everything. They have all the removal. They have a lot of interaction. They have good creatures. They have resistant creatures. Vampires has everything. Just need to make the someone just needs to make the list, make it work. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm hoping for more. Can anyone help me? What is the M? Okay, what does the M stand for? Modal? I know the last part is double face cards. Help me, people. I want to say it's modal double face cards, but it doesn't sound right to me. With a permanent front half and a spell back half for spell shift combo. If there was ever a set where they do that, surely a Wizard School theme set might do it. It might. It might actually do that. Or Throne of Eldraine sequel. Modal. It is modal. Like, intuitively, I want to say it's modal, but it seems wrong to me. It just seems wrong. Alexandros Rosales, I was thinking they were going to wait until Modern Horizons 2 until they banned Uro. Makes me think they won't print Stifle now. I know Stifle would be too strong, but I thought it would be cool to see. No, maybe they are going to print Stifle. Maybe they know it's coming, and they don't want... Like, imagine this. Imagine they, like, reveal Stifle with Uro, and they're like, oh my god, everyone buy Uro. It's going to be so expensive. Everyone buy Stifle, and then they ban Uro. That would be pretty bad. So maybe they're banning Uro in advance because Stifle is coming. I don't know. I think Stifle would be fine in Modern. Like, anything to hate... Like, I have no problem with hating on fetch lands. Like, if you want to have those, like, perfect mana bases, that comes at a cost. I think Stifle is... Aspiring Spike is proving that Tail's End is actually, like, a modern playable card. So Stifle probably is most definitely a modern playable card. And maybe we need this effect. We need answers to triggered abilities. Like, we need more answers to triggered abilities. Elves cost a lot in Legacy, but could be playable in all three. That is right, actually, but not sure about them in Pioneer. No, you're right, Frederick. Oh, and, well, we got to wait for things to happen. Maybe it is going to be super playable in Pioneer. I mean, we're still in the early days. And they just got a bunch of new good elves to be played in Pioneer. The only problem with elves in Legacy is that you need Gaia's Cradle, and that's now like $1 million. What's Gaia's Cradle? Oh, hold on, I'll wait for it to load. But like, that would be your main. And your other main problem is, like, honestly, like, elves is still got to prove itself in Modern. There's a lot to prove. It's a playable deck, though, for sure. That actually might be you, but you are right. That might be the only archetype that hits all three formats, or potentially could hit all three formats. If nothing else, if it's not a thing yet in Pioneer, it has a lot of room to grow. MTG Stocks is so slow. Yeah, look at this. Guy's Cradle. It's tough for the Elves players. What do you need, like 4 of them? That's gonna be this is gonna be like what? I don't know, like 95% of the cost of the deck is just gonna be like Gaia's Cradle, then the other 5% is gonna be everything else. Oops, All Spells is probably the best deck with good variants in all 3 formats. That's actually a very interesting suggestion. At least until I'll say this much. You're right. It's very good in Pioneer. It's very good in Modern. And it's playable in Legacy. I would be very fearful of some sort of rules change that might screw this over, though. Or maybe they would. I don't know if this is a. I don't know how safe this deck is, and also I don't know if it's would be considered fun for people playing it. Because the problem with these sort of decks, you're right though. This is definitely a possibility for all three formats. One problem with Oops though, if you're not into that sort of thing, is it can get really boring really fast. Like winning instantly, winning instantly, winning instantly, but then you get crushed instantly. Oh, you got the graveyard piece. Oh, you got the graveyard piece. Oh, you got surgical extraction. Oh, you got that. And then like it's sort of a tough deck to play in the long run, to be committed to in all three formats. And you'll lose similarly in all three formats. No Death and Tax style deck in Pioneer yet, but it's possible it rises after Uro gets banned. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe Uro is holding it down. Oh, that's another suggestion. Blitz in Pioneer and Modern. Is there a Blitz deck in Pioneer? I don't see a Blitz deck in Pioneer at all. Although maybe someone can invent it. Why not? Because there is a Blitz deck in Modern and definitely in Legacy. So there is a like Prowess Blitz deck in Modern. There is like a Delverish Blitz deck in Legacy, and I'm sure could be some Love Child made in between. The community is so smart. You're so smarty pants, you all smarts. Oh, is there a super chat that I missed? Camo Kid, $5. Thank you so much. So sorry for missing the super chat. Maybe I missed it with the Pioneer one. Camo Kid with $5. Thank you for being like the only YouTuber I watch who reads every comment and gives real answers to them and is think Huntmaster is modern playable. Thank you very much. And so sorry that I almost missed your super chat. I mean, like I'm sort of going back on the comments to see just looking for other comments. I guess I thought yours was available. I thought your super chat was somebody else's super chat. Sorry about that. It's very ironic. I missed your super chat when you say I read every comment. I do read every comment. That's right. I do read every comment. And so far, it's still possible. If you see the heart on YouTube, that means I read it. I love the comments. I binge them. All right, we got another super chat. Nardoto, I'm thinking up another tribal. I already have merfolk in Modern. I am in doubt between vampires or spirits. Which would you indicate for fun? Probably vampires for fun. Spirits is fun though too. But spirits, I would say spirits. When I played it, it feels very similar to merfolk. So maybe vampires would be a big enough change of pace. But vampires, well, I'll also say, you want to win? Because if you want to win, spirits will get the job done. Spirits definitely wins. We don't know yet about vampires. Vampires is like iffy territory. Like I know it can win, but we have work to do in order to make it win. But thank you very much for the super chat, Nardoto. Some unbanned predictions. I can't predict anything. No one can. If someone predicts what card is going to get unbanned on a very specific BNR announcement, then they just have inside knowledge. They're cheaters. They're cheating. Tide Hollow Cat says, do you think it's possible for a powered down Wasteland to be printed in Modern Horizons 2? I don't know what it would be, but it could help out Death and Taxes and other decks. Maybe Rished Import? I think Rished Import should come into Modern. I think that's a very good card to come into Modern. I think it is a safe card to bring into Modern. It's not like OP. It taxes you as well. Maybe even Merfolk would play this, and it would accurately tax decks like Tron and Amulet and other Titan decks. I think it'd be very fair. I'd like to see Rished Import in Modern as well. As Merfolk players, we might play Port, and it would be so interesting. You like port your opponent. Let's say a control player is 4 mana, and you port 1 land. Then they're like, I got a Cryptic Command or nothing. You know what I mean? I think Port would be a very safe bet into Modern. Four Guys Cradle, let's go! Let's go! For the people. Yeah, let's go. Let's all jump into Legacy all at once. What would you recommend as a cheapish mid-range option to get into Modern? Ooh, good question. Cheap is always a difficult... difficult thing to answer. What do we have here? It depends online. I think the Aladdin's Toolbox is like, I don't know if this is, you'd consider this mid-range, but you can get it for 200 ticks online, $600, $640 in real life. It's the Primeval Titan, Dry to the Elysian Grove deck. It's like somewhat slowish, but that's only the online price. Problem is mid-range usually has like a lot of fetch lands in it, you know what I mean? Well, the Abosh deck actually plays more mid-range than aggro. If you know what, this might be your option. $260. Oh my god, the paper version is cheaper than the online version. It's called mono red. It's called Abosh aggro, but it's not that aggro. It actually is really slow because you just chip away with these creatures and you use card advantage to grind out your opponent, like Firebolt, Flame Slash, Lava Dart, Lightning Bolt, light up the stage. But Blood Moon might be your largest expense. But the you don't actually. I mean, if you have the option, you can go aggro. But generally speaking, this deck can be playing very patiently. Like it plays with Blast Zone, Pithing Needle, Relic of Progenitus, Shattering Spree, Kozilek's Return. If you watch these games play out, they're actually really patient. I would actually consider this more of a mid-range deck than an aggro deck. The Abosh, like, card advantage version. Anyway, that would probably be my closest to, like, mid-range on a budget, those options. Is Gruul mid-range? Is, like, Gruul Ponza cheap in paper? Let's see if I can find it. It's not that cheap in paper. $739, 440 ticks. That's money. That's money, people. Seasoned Pyromancer alone, $111. Holy shit. 111 bucks. Hey, it's Merfolk Joe. Friday's starting off really well. Thank you very much. Hope your Friday morning is great too. Paulo says, hey, I love your videos. I'm not a Merfolk player, actually. I'm a Sultai player. What do you think about Sultai in Modern? Your card just got banned. Your card just got banned. The sad reality is that Sultai never had like a really good anchor card to push it in that direction. It was always blue. It was always Azorius, Jeskai, Dimir, sometimes Esper. So your anchor card actually just got banned. So this is very poor timing. Asking me what do I think about Sultai in Modern. It used to be good. It's going to be good until Monday, definitely. But I don't know about it in the long run. Maybe you can make some good use out of Ice Fang Quaddle, maybe. But I doubt that's. I don't know if that's going to be strong enough to support splashing the third color, because you're just much weaker to Blood Moon. The liability is so high. But maybe it's still possible. But I would bet that you have to go to Dimir. And Dimir is still a real deck. Like, there is a lot of Dimir control out there. Tons of Dimir control decks. Had a lot of good success even in the Uro metagame. What is the chance that Field of the Dead gets banned in this ban or in the text time? Doesn't Field of the Dead get worse when Uro gets banned? Field of the Dead definitely gets worse. I might make a video. In my opinion, Field of the Dead is getting framed. I think Field of the Dead is only good because of Uro and Primeval Titan. Those are the cards that legitimately break this card. How many cards are going to get banned around Primeval Titan? Who knows? Who knows? Now, I'm not saying I'm calling for Primeval Titan's banning, but I'm saying if Primeval Titan did not exist, Field of the Dead is not a problem. And then if you want to utilize Field of the Dead, you'd legitimately would have to be a ramp deck to make use out of it, like a legitimate ramp deck. I actually think that card is framed. Good card, but framed. No other control deck plays Field of the Dead except the Uro decks. Was there a ban announcement? There was an announcement in a Secret Lair announcement about an announcement. Weird, huh? Andre Cigar says, right, that's what I said. Field is honestly fine without Uro. Primeval Titan should have some powerful endgame stuff. Should have? You want Primeval Titan to have that stuff? Not everyone's happy about Primeval Titan having that stuff. But the problem is, like, okay, the next super busted card is going to come around, and it's going to get abused by Primeval Titan, of course, because they're a land toolbox deck, and then maybe they'll get that one banned too. Maybe one day they'll get Valakut banned. I didn't forget about Hour of Promise, but like a legitimate ramp deck would be playing that card for sure. Field of the Dead should be legendary. Like, that was stupid that it wasn't legendary. But they were just trying to make another Valakut the Molten Pinnacle. Why isn't Valakut legendary? That doesn't make any sense either. They should all be legendary. Is Tarmagov Top Dog again? Probably not, but it's probably a good creature. Do you think Lurrus will be banned? Not anytime soon, but I tried to make the argument. There was a time where all the top decks of the format were like Lurrus decks or decks that could beat a Lurrus deck. So like Rakdos Shadow is a Lurrus deck. It plays Lurrus. Here's a Lurrus deck. This one is not a Lurrus deck. Blitz. So it's either, it was like, you're a Primeval Titan deck, you're a combo deck, you're an Uro deck, or you're a companion deck. But since then, my argument is being sort of blown out of the water. There's Blitz here. Burns sometimes plays Lurrus. There's Spirits. Heliod Company doesn't play... well, Heliod Company's a combo deck. Anyway. Maybe one day the companions will come back and, like, ruin the format. And I can make that video again. If you could pick one set to include in Modern, which would you pick? Only one set to put in Modern. Urza's Destiny, so we can have opposition. I don't know if that's going to help, but Urza's Destiny. It sounds like Lewis is hearing about the news right now. Hey, what is this? What's this Uro ban? About time. Yeah, that's right. Uro's getting banned. Coffee makes me have to poop, so I get really excited to watch, sip my coffee, and then end up in the bathroom for the rest of the stream. Hey, you can take the stream with you. Doesn't anyone do that? You watch the stream on your phone. You can you just take your stream into the bathroom. I'm watching so much YouTube content on the shitter these days. It's great. I just put in my AirPods while I have the fan blowing. It doesn't matter. The noise cancellation muffles the sound. You want a Mox in Modern? I don't want any Moxes in Modern. I was protesting Mox Opal for like a year and a half. I don't need to bring the Moxes back. Miramu, hey Nikachu, I watched your channel and watched you live on GPs years ago. Do you think you'll ever do special videos about 2015 variants of Merfolk, trying them in today's Modern for fun? I'm asked that once in a while, but the answer is no. Just because, I mean, I would if I do that, it has to be like once in a blue moon. Fact of the matter is, those old decks are old for a reason. They're super out of date. They're like they're lacking all the good cards of today. And it's I only have so much time, and I have to spend the time on like the new stuff. I think it would be a very niche crowd to see the super old stuff. So yeah, we all watch in the bathroom. See, he knows. Saga didn't have opposition. Oops, what am I doing? So Urza's Destiny is the one with opposition. Look at that devotion. Imagine we play opposition into Master of Waves. We'll lock down all our opponent's lands. That's like a crap. That's a crap combo. But at the very least, that's like a solid answer to like any creature on the battlefield. Tap your what's it called? Tap your Primeval Titan. Tap your Death Shadow. Do you think Tibble's Trickery will get banned or Cascade nerfed? I'm thinking of building a new modern combo deck other than Storm. I do think Tibble's Trickery will get banned. I think after the Cascade rule gets fixed and the Valky decks go away, Tibble's Trickery is going to come back. I'm most definitely... Well, I'll say this much. If they ban Mystic Sanctuary, the Tibble's Trickery deck will suck. Or maybe my version will suck. Maybe the other versions will still be good. But it's tough. It's tough to tell. See, look. Played with opposition in my friend's cube. Card is super good. Very, very good. I asked my friend to put opposition in his cube, and then he took it out. Odds of Teferi getting banned? Higher than 0. Higher than 0, I would say. I can't guarantee anything, but definitely is on the chopping block. I don't know if Wizards thinks it's time to ban it, but on the chopping block for sure. You want the set that gives you the Goblin Ringleader for Merfolk, but the problem is those cards I think are a little slow for Merfolk. I don't want to spend 4 mana, put it onto the battlefield, and then put a bunch of Merfolk in my hand. I would much rather spend 4 mana that can interact with the battlefield. So like opposition, for example, if I had just like some random creatures on the battlefield and I turn 4 slam opposition, I can now start interacting with my opponent's creatures. Honestly, I don't even know if this card is good. I was just put on the spot, and I'm like, hey, I like opposition. This is a card that escaped getting into Modern because it was in 7th edition. Why not? All right, people. You know what time it is? It's Decklist review time. So I've got a... go check out my description. There is a link to my Discord. Join my Discord. Go to the channel, Decklist Review. And in that section, go... you enter the command !review deck space, enter the URL of your deck list, press enter, and you will be eligible at random to be chosen for deck list review. And as people are submitting their deck list, we are going to thank our sponsors, starting with FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite local game store, Canadian local game store, people, Canadian prices. And the deal of the week this week, save 15% off Jumpstart singles and sealed product. I don't think they can send sealed product outside of Canada, but they can most definitely send the singles. So if you're looking for that Crater Hoof or whatever you need for your cube or commander deck, you want to go to Fusion Gaming Online. It would support the channel if you use... I don't have any... Still don't put my branding in here. You can support the channel by using coupon code Nikachu at checkout and save an additional 5% off in addition to the 15% off all your purchases. 15% off only the Jumpstart stuff, though. 5% off anything you get. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below. Mana Traders is the best place to basically test and try out your decks. I mean, you bring them here for deck list review, and then you can put them into Magic the Gathering Online and try them out and exchange cards here and there as you need to. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can save 15% off your first 3 months using my coupon code Nikachu. See you later, Gab. Or Gabe. What is my commander deck right now? It is a Thassa God of the Sea deck. Thassa. I pledge my allegiance to Thassa. Okay. Let's choose a deck list. All right. Ben Arm, Pioneer Death and Taxes sideboard needs work, though. All right. Let's go check out your deck list. And apparently this deck list is not legal. Deck list must contain at least 60 cards. You're working on it, right? You're working on it. Okay, so we've got Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves. Is this really Death and Taxes? Sort of. Okay, I got it. So Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves. So you got some ramp, Scavenging Ooze, and this is Pioneer, right? Okay, remember, this is Pioneer, people. It's a Pioneer deck. So we got some mana ramps, some Scavenging Oozes, Selfless Spirit, Voice of Resurgence, Archon of Emeria. Flying, each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. Non-basic lands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. That ability is actually a beating. I really hate this sort of... Thalia is actually a fucking beating. I think this is an underrated card, and I would probably go up to the 4th Thalia, even though it's legendary. Well, maybe it's just smart to have 3. 3 is like a good number for legendary creatures, but this is strong. This is very, very strong. The fact that creatures and non-basic lands enter the battlefield tapped, huge tempo blowout. And the fact you can get that out and play by turn 2, that's disgusting. Skyclave Apparition is great stuff. What else does this do? No, that's just flying. Can't play more than one spell each turn, and non-basic lands come into play tapped. Gideon, ally of Zendikar. How many creatures? We have 30 creatures, but 7 of them are donuts, and we have a collected company. Your collected company is not the greatest collected company because you're essentially a 23 creature deck. I mean, it's fine. Like you're just gonna hit a mana dork pretty often off of this collected company, but it's okay. It's okay. Baffling End. Whenever Baffling End enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or less. When it leaves the battlefield, target opponent creates a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample. Why I call them donuts? Because they do nothing. They're do-nothing donuts. I don't know where I absorbed this from. It's like, donut is just an expression for something that doesn't do it. It's like weak. We have Branchloft Pathway, Forest, Mana Confluence. Is that really the best land we got here? So if we play Temple Garden, we can't play too many Sun Petal Groves? 1, 10, 11. Oh yeah, we can't play too many Sun Petal Groves. Gotcha. How many lands is this? 21 lands. And we don't have 60 cards. Decks must contain at least 60. What do we have? 30, 32, 36, 38. We're missing 1 card. So you're allowed to have 1 more card. Put another creature in here. Maybe put 1 more Thalia. Or maybe 1 more Elvish Mystic. I don't know. Do I have a list of cards for all the Merfolk variants? Look up Merfolk Toolbox 2020, Nikachu MTG. I have a video on it. Okay, so you have to put at the very least 1 more card in here. Phyrexian Revoker is good. Spirit Remorseful. Okay, so for anyone, oh my god. Getting a bunch of super chats during Decklist review. Oh, if I'm getting more than 1 super chat, it doesn't pop up. That's why I missed one. Okay, everyone, before I get to the super chats, let us know if you're a Pioneer player, what would you have in the sideboard? Phyrexian Revoker, I think, is good, but I don't know how great it is. Remorseful Cleric is good. Like, these are good cards. Spirit of Labyrinth, Aven Mind Sensor, Collective Effort. Okay, this one I don't know. Tap an untapped creature you control to escalate it. Choose 1 or more. Destroy target creature, power 4 or greater. Destroy target enchantment. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. Interesting. Settle the Wreckage and Yasharn, Implaceable Earth. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic forest card and basic plains card. Reveal those cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast those spells or abilities. That's a very strong card. Think you need to add another well, you know what? I mean, if I'm getting paid like this, then I think the answer is yes. I got to add more. I can do Coffee and MTG for forever. This is the most lucrative Coffee and MTG ever. Lurrus in the main seems really good. But the main question, well, we definitely need 1 more card. I don't know if Lurrus is it because there's not that many 2-drops in the deck. Like, it's basically Scavenging Ooze, a Selfless Spirit, so I don't think that's good value. The sideboard seems fine. I just don't know if it's well positioned. That's all. That's my only problem. Like, these are all good cards. Even Mind Sensor, you can't search your library too deep. So while people give some suggestions for the Pioneer sideboard, hopefully people who play the format. Another Chad, thank you very much for the super chat. I want to jump into Modern and as best as possible make myself ban-proof. Do you think Blue-White Control is an archetype that'll always be tier 1 to 2? Yes. Always has been, always will be, has tons of cards. They could ban 2 or 3 more cards from Blue-White Control. It'd still be super OP and strong. Always has been good. Like, and by the way, Blue-White Control, and I'm also talking about all the variants, sometimes moving to Jeskai, sometimes not, but Blue-White is so solid. I have so many videos of, like, Blue-White just having millions of cards. They have too many cards, so, like, you're gonna definitely be in really good shape. Like, how do you think the Uro deck came into existence? All they did is put Uro in a Blue-White Control deck. That's it. It's just the Blue-White shell with Uro in it, and then it became unstoppable. So Blue-White Control is a very smart choice, and they still have too many cards. Like, everything... they have so many ban-worthy cards right now, so the games will feel easy to play at the moment, and they might get harder in the future as they ban more cards, but it still has so many tools that they have everything. They have basically everything. And thank you very much, David, for the super chat. Love watching with tea before work. Thank you very you're welcome. Hoping to start the day off great. Yeah, Blue White control is strong. Super strong. Should I add blue for Teferi, Reflector Mage, and counters in the board? Is this your list? I don't think so. I mean, if you're... well, I mean, you know what? Okay, at the same time, it's not a bad suggestion, given that there is no Blood Moon in this format, so adding the third color is not that bad. And Reflector Mage is very good in a deck that can play like turn 1 Elvish Mystic, turn 2 like bounce your creature. That's a huge beating. And it also works really well with Collected Company. I think that's very reasonable to do. I don't know what you kick out, though. But that's a very reasonable thing to do. Like, just bant good stuff is a very, very reasonable suggestion. Bygone Bishop? I think that takes a little bit... I know what that card does. I think that just takes... requires too much to grind. Yeah, whenever you cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, you investigate, so you get clues to draw a card. It's like okay, but it's not great. It was like okay in standard when I played it. I did play it in standard. I played Spirits back then. So I'm not 100%. So one good suggestion here was just Night of Autumn. Actually, I think I would prefer this. I would prefer Night of Autumn instead of Collective Effort. It doesn't destroy creatures, but it does destroy enchantments, and it can make a big creature, and you can find it off of Collected Company. So I think Night of Autumn is a very reasonable suggestion. But other than that, you got a clean list. And by the way, you have a 59-card deck, so you can put something else in this deck, by the way. Yeah, you can put like one more card in the main deck. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Maybe put a Night of Autumn in the main deck. But splashing for blue is also very reasonable, but it would be a completely different list. Anyway, thanks for submitting the list. Let's move on. Brix is God. Congrats, you're the next contestant on Decklist review. Oh, you were missing a land? Just gotta throw that land in there. Zombies! Love it. All right, what is this? For Modern? Are we playing with... Oh, we're not playing with the fun new stuff. Oh, it's Esper Zombies. You are really going out of your way for Esper. All right. Carrion Feeder, Cryptbreaker, Gravecrawler, Corpse Knight... Come on, let's start. Carrion Feeder, Cryptbreaker, Gravecrawler, Corpse Knight. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. Honestly, I'm not high on cards like this. I don't like these ETB. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life, because this doesn't get any value by itself when it enters the battlefield. And again, Modern is so full of removal. I mean, it will be great if you have Aether Vial out, because you can go Corpse Knight into something else, but then the games that you don't have Aether Vial, it's like a little clunky. Like, it's really good against decks that have no removal. It's really good because you really crush your opponent with these Wayward Servant Corpse Knight things, but against decks with removal, it has no value. It's a 2-mana Grizzly Bear, and then it just dies. That's why I like stuff like Gravecrawler. Okay, if you kill it, it comes back anyway. Tidehallow Sculler, Undead Augur, Unsettled Mariner. Okay, so maybe we can protect our creatures with Unsettled Mariner. Maybe I'd go to 4 if you want to go for this Corpse Knight thing. Maybe take away 1 Cryptbreaker, because you have a lot of 1-drops, and I don't think you need this many. Take out one of the Cryptbreakers for an Unsettled Mariner. If you're going to... I really don't even like splashing blue here. Darkgraph Captain is fantastic, but you're weak to Blood Moon. And that sort of sucks. If you're a 2-color deck, you can play around Blood Moon, and you won't get stomped, because this is a very high risk to just splash for these 2 cards. For Unsettled Mariner, you're gonna you just snap loose to some Blood Moon starts. Wayward Servant, again, this is a card. Well, I mean, you got to figure it out for yourself if this card is good enough, because I don't like these cards. We're in a position in Modern. It's really hard to justify cards that don't have ETB triggers or doesn't have any death trigger. This requires other creatures to enter the battlefield, and it has to be on the battlefield. What do angels need to be competitive in Modern? More angels, more or less. And hopefully angels at a lower mana cost. Most of the angels... I tried to make an Angel Tron deck once. There's really not that many angels in Modern. Or sorry, just in Magic. They're like... And they're really expensive. Like, the good ones are very expensive. Maybe we just have to change our mind about what an angel deck looks like. You can make it like a mono white or Boros mid-range deck with just a few top-end creatures like Baneslayer Angel or something like that. But... They need stronger angels at a lower converted mana cost. Okay, I'll get to some of these other super chats. Thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. Ugly Hood Rat. I have another one. I'll get to that in a second. So it's a big risk. I'm just saying, like, that I know it's very appealing. I've got stomped by this because as a Merfolk deck, I can't deal with creatures on the battlefield, and then these things chain really quickly and they kill you. But against a deck with removal, you basically put a 2/2 creature in play and you don't get any value because they kill it. And then that's it. It depends so much on these things surviving to future turns. Death Baron, skeletons you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1 and have death touch. Diregraph Captain. I actually think Diregraph Captain is better than Death Baron. I would play one less Death Baron, one Diregraph Captain. Again, this is whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. I think that's a very valuable. Ability. Very, very valuable. So here we have a 3-color mana base. Do you have enough for each color? You have 2 Swamp, 4 Unclaimed Territory, Watery Grave. You do have some fetch lands. I might go up on fetch lands. I might go one more Godless Shrine. Sorry, maybe one more. I'd probably take... I don't know if this is correct, but maybe one less Watery Grave, one less God... Oh, no, but you can't. You can't take out too many of these, then we have nothing to fetch for. Okay, maybe that's just how it's got to be. Because I just, again, Blood Moon Insurance, basically. Blood Moon Insurance. Expertate. Should really just play Surgical Extraction. I think it's better than Expertate. I don't think you want to, I don't think you need the split second. Binding Mummy. Whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, you may tap target artifact or creature. Again, really strong card, but depends on creatures being on the battlefield. Or it depends on this thing surviving. Yixla Jailer, great card. Great card. Good in... I would still play some Nihil Spellbomb, because they can just kill... Like, most decks will just kill this thing. But it's still a very good card. You interact with the graveyard while still attacking. Fleshbag Marauder. I actually don't think these cards are good anymore. Getting your opponent to sacrifice a creature, they'll just sacrifice the worst creature, so you could replace this with some graveyard hate that I was talking about. Should have more graveyard hate in this deck. Lifebane Zombie. It's an okay zombie. Plague Engineer is very good. And Sorin, Solemn Visitor. I don't know if this is necessary. This is a very expensive card in a... 4 mana is really tough to cast. Actually, I would just say it's uncastable. You have 18 lands. I would actually also say you're really low on lands. You have to cut the Death Barons. You can't have this... You know what? Okay, you can't have this many... 18 lands in Aether Vial, you're super choked on mana. Like, Humans, for example, has 19 lands, 4 Noble Hierarch, and 4 Aether Vial, and they still have a bunch of 3-drops, and you have a bunch of 3-drops. I would say cut all the Death Barons, add an Unsettled Mariner, add a land, or maybe cut 1 Death Baron, maybe cut 2 Death Barons, add a land, add an Unsettled Mariner, keep your curve lower. Honestly, I'd prefer you had 20 lands, to be honest. But you don't have enough lands in this deck. You'll lose being choked on mana very often. And Sorin is just unplayable because it's 4 mana. You don't have enough lands in this deck to consistently play it. So you have to cut this for something else. Yeah, definitely put the Unsettled Mariner so you have some means of protecting these creatures, because they're hard to protect because they're just creatures. Anyway, that's my advice. Anyone else have any advice? Better maybe just have Liliana the Last Hope. We still don't have the mana base for that. We need at least 21 lands to reliably play Liliana the Last Hope. I don't even know if that's that great. I will say this much. I mean, in theory, you could play Luris if you cut out all the 3-drops. I don't know if that's something you want to do, though. I do like Diregraph Captain and Zombies. I really like it. I think it's great. Very well. You're welcome, Larry. Oh, yeah, we could remove some unclaimed territories for some Horizon lands. I think that's a smart move. And maybe take out some Death Barons for some Horizon lands. It's not a budget deck, so we can play some Horizon lands in here. I know we're still gonna get fucked by Blood Moon, but you know that's just how it is. So thank you very much for submitting the list. I hope that was some useful feedback. Chris Menz with the super chat. Thank you very much. I think it's cool that only expensive cards in Spirits, Merfolk, and the like are Force Negation, Vial, and Cavern. I can play multiple decks for cheap. Well, if you have already invested in the expensive cards, that is very true. But for a lot of people, I hear like, do I want to get into Merfolk? This is so expensive. The Vial, the Cavern, the Force Negation. Ah, fuck it. I'll play something else. So the deal is, if you already have the cards, yes, you have the ability to play other tribal decks, other blue tribal decks, for much cheaper. Especially if you have Cavern of Souls Vial, that opens the doors for many different decks. You can play Vampires probably because that Vampires, Zombies. Like, you look at the zombies here, they're not that expensive. Look, $1.50, $15, $20 for Gravecrawler, $1 here, $3, $1, $4. Like, it's a really reasonable deck to get into because you already have the expensive pieces, right? The Aether Vial and the Cavern of Souls, and you could just fill the rest of the deck with swamps if you wanted to. So if you already own the Cavern of Souls and the Aether Vial, you definitely have the ability to play basically anything. Agadeem's Awakening is definitely a possibility. I always found it hard to play. Like, it's pretty clunky, but it's playable. I could never get like more than 2 creatures off of it. I really like my Lords though. Well, then add more mana. How about that? You just have to add more mana. Take out some Crypt Breakers. Get to at least 20 lands. At least 21 would be safer. No, 20 would be fine. I would say 20 would be fine. Get to 20 lands and you'd be okay. You can keep all your Lords. Cut something else. Maybe cut some Crypt Breakers because you have a lot of 1-drops anyway. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. If I didn't get to your comments or questions, I guess you have to super chat me, but don't worry. If I didn't get to your deck list, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Every weekday, you better believe I am ready to be part of the conversation. I hope you are. And if you want to support the channel, you can, of course, do that with the super chats. Thanks very much to everybody. I've never received so much support in super chats since, I don't know, the pandemic started. Everyone was so happy that I started streaming. But if you want to alternatively support the Nikachu Empire, you can do that at twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. You can also go to patreon.com/Nikachu MTG and become a patron. Oh, by the way, if you have Amazon Prime, just connect your Prime Gaming with your Twitch account, and you can support me for free. Costs you nothing and actually gives me money. It's amazing. What an amazing system Jeff Bezos created. Or you can join on YouTube if that's something you want. You unlock emotes for Coffee and MTG. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a great morning and keep brewing up that coffee, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. See you next time.